Hi. Digital Insurance in Action is our ongoing program reporting on digital insurance initiatives and innovations around the world, and it's supported and sponsored by KPMG. In this month's InViews, we're focusing on telematics for the car, and this is the second in a series of 3, and I'd like to focus on Insure the Box from the UK. The reason I really quite like Insure the Box is I think they have a very customer-centric approach, and also, and you can see this from the quote on the right-hand side, they're thinking ahead, and they're thinking ahead of how they need to collaborate with manufacturers. They're also starting to look at the potential impact of driverless cars. So in this interview, I'd really like to focus on customer centricity, branding, and then have a little bit of a discussion around the need to collaborate with manufacturers and what might happen in the future there. So let's start just by having a look at a little bit in the background of Insure the Box. They started in 2010. They've been very successful. They were the first in the market in the UK. They are now the leader in the market. They have more than 300,000 drivers or policies in force, and they've accumulated more than 2 billion miles of data, which should hold them in good stead. As I said, they have done recently a transaction where they have sold the majority of their shares, 75%, to MS&AD, and that organisation has a strategic partnership with Toyota. So let's have a look first of all at customer centricity. I was fortunate enough last year to share a panel session with one of the executives from Insure the Box, and he was talking about, and he previously presented on, just how customer centric the Insure the Box model is, and really, and this is a slide on the top left, you can see he describes it as telematics being super direct, and they've needed to think through every stage of the customer journey and make sure that they can be very customer centric, starting from the installation of the box itself, and then going on to things like complaint handling, which is a completely different area because customers are calling in and querying whether their mileage is correct, etc. So it needs a very, very high touch with customers. The other thing that's interesting about the Insure the Box approach is they've moved beyond just talking about price discounts as the main motivation to buy, and they really look at broader range of services, which essentially is all around risk management and allowing customers, if they choose to do so, to be better drivers, but also being able to support them in the event of accidents. So definitely they've proven that by monitoring and having the device in the car, they can sometimes predict when accidents have occurred, and then can call emergency services, which actually helps to save lives very, very directly. So let's have a look at the branding approach, and they were very successful in the sub-brand that they created, which was called Drive Like a Girl. And Drive Like a Girl was driven by regulatory change. In particular, the EU came out with a directive that pricing could no longer be differentiated by gender. So Insure the Box responded by creating the Drive Like a Girl brand, making it available to everyone, basically driving home the message that as long as you're a good driver, you can get the best pricing from their solution. And I think that worked particularly well in the UK, where I guess people are a little bit skeptical about some EU regulations. The other thing about Insure the Box, and the example at the bottom of the screen here is from the Drive Like a Girl brand, is their use of data and feeding that data back to customers in the form of dashboards. And you can see, I think just about you can see they have a Drive Like a Girl score, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, and then associated with that, depending on your score, is essentially a discount that they provide for good behaviour. So lastly on this InView, I'd like to just talk about this sort of need for collaboration with manufacturers. So I think we can see that an ecosystem is evolving around the car. Insurance is part of that ecosystem. So people who are successful in telematics need to work out how they're going to work with manufacturers who will also have an interest in this space and also have a capability, of course, to install telematics as standard in their car going forward. So I think organisations like Insure the Box, who are already sort of looking at ways to partner up with those manufacturers, should get good insights, and we'll be able to work out how these new models will emerge. And of course, if we do end up in a situation where there are many, many driverless cars on the roads in 20 or 30 years' time, they should also be in a position to take advantage of that as well. So that's it on this InView. I hope you enjoyed it. We've got lots more InViews on the site and lots of content, so do go and have a look. There's also a link to allow you to get these slides from SlideShare. Also, you know, please do talk about us to your friends, and please be aware that we're here only because our sponsors do take up the services that we offer to them as well. So that's it for today. Thank you very much.